This poor man here has never read any romance, but he loves fantasy. Valentine's Day is coming, so he set a mission for himself to read his very first romantasy. Hi guys, this is Dan. Today let's do a really funny, exciting project because I am going to pick up my very first romantasy. I've never read any romance or romantasy before because sometimes I find that they may be a bit cheesy, a bit too much for me, but Valentine's Day is coming, so I have decided to pick up my very first romantasy. So I choose House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas as my start. This is the third installment in her universe and it is also the first book of the Crescent City series. It is an adult urban fantasy, which is also something that I rarely pick up. I know that this may not be the best way to start Sarah J. Maas. Some may suggest to read Throne of Glass first because the writing of Sarah J. Maas would get better and better over the series, and also there may be some references of this book to the earlier installments. But I don't care, because the last book of this series, House of Flame and Shadow, has just released, and the cover of this book is just stunning and eye-catching, and I judge a book by its cover, so I pick up House of Earth and Blood as my start. How I feel about this book, how would I react to certain spicy chapters, we shall see together. Let's dive in. Here comes the first update of House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I know that it is a bit of a weird angle because you can't see the bookcase anymore. The reason is that outside there's some work I can't film in a normal position, so I am retreated to the corridor. I'm around 100 pages in of this book. So far, I think that it is really slow paced. Even only for the first chapter of this book, it is full of any possible world building. And I found that it is a little bit difficult to go through all the information. The plot itself progressed really slowly in the first 100 pages. Even within one chapter, you may got half of it is for the world building, giving you all the information you need to know, and the other half is like the plot, but it is slow. And for the writing style, I am not sure. Is it like Sarah J. Maas goes to? Because when the characters are upset, emotional, angry, disappointing, she will just literally throw any F words, S words possible. You can look on the screen, I have screenshot some of the paragraphs and you can see how much she used those words in just one chapter. So far, I didn't see anything spicy, didn't see anything exotic. I'll keep on reading it today, but I need to go out for grocery first. Let's see how far I can go and then give you another update later today. Hello, I'm here for another update because I have read another 150 pages. I am on chapter 25. So far, I think this book is quite entertaining, I'm not gonna lie, because this book so far read like a soap opera. It is like a soap opera mixing with some reality show elements to bring the drama out. Up to this point, the plot is getting a bit more clearer. We know what sort of directions we're going for. And in terms of romance, I think there may be a little bit of sparks. I also appreciate how complex this world is because, like I said in the last update, usually one chapter is like half world building, half the plot. We got quite a complicated hierarchy system here with all the dramas, all the field before. Our main character, Hunt, is investigating the murder because she is sort of related to all these cases. Also, Hunt, the Archangel, is helping her out because if he could find out who is the murderer, then he could get the freedom. I find that it is quite easy to follow. I like the fact that half of it is like really serious world building, really complicated hierarchy, the past between the characters. But on the other hand, it is quite easy to get through because it is like a soap opera, really easy to digest what is going on. But the good old problem, all the F words, all the S words still here. I think that's like the only complaint I am having so far because when the characters are just emotional, upset, or just like angry, Sarah J. Maas just throw all these F words everywhere. So far, I think it is entertaining, it is funny. I'm not sure what future me gonna say, but at this point, 250 pages in, I am quite happy with it, honestly. So I will see you in the next update. So here's another update of my progress on this book. I am on chapter 35, which means that I have read roughly 80 pages more compared to the last update. We got certain clues, but it is still not quite clear who commit all those murders. Edward's efforts are still happen quite a lot, quite common still. But the romance here is getting slightly stronger. The relationship is getting a bit closer, and there may be some slightly more intimate interactions, touches between the characters. This update didn't do much, but I hope that the next update I will read slightly more so I can give you a little bit more about my thoughts. I'm not even halfway through yet, so we shall see. I'll see you in the next update. See ya! This chapter I am reading is quite graphic. Hi guys, I just finished Act 2, so I think it is the time to give you an update. There are finally some graphic, exotic, sexual actions here. I don't want to say too much about it. What I like so far is the writing itself is really easy to follow, and I also like the fact that our main characters, Hunt and Bryce, they're both broken persons. They got their own pasts, they got their own histories to make them the persons they are now. I really like, because of the similar backgrounds, how they're gonna open up to each other to finally leading up to the intimate moment. That is something that I really appreciate. But in terms of the plot, I think, yes, there's like a really big twist by the end of it. But from what I have read so far, there's like a pattern of writing, which is like, very beginning, there may be like a build-up, day-to-day life, having a coffee, making your breakfast, something like that. And then maybe some intel coming in, some info, something to lead up to the investigation of the murders, because ultimately, we're here for the murders. And they will go to the persons, go to the places to look for the hints, look for the clues. When they get home, there may be some like, we get a little bit like intimate now, and then it will interrupt by another intel. I think maybe for me, this sort of pattern is kind of repetitive. And also, I think that when I go through this act, I think like quite a lot of time we are going back to square one and then investigate from that point again. When we finally get some clues, get some hints of new information, then we're back to square one again, which I think is quite... that is like the only thing I am so far not a big fan of, but overall, it is quite easy to read. Like I said before, it's like a soap opera. At this point, finally, we get rid of some F words, S words, which I appreciate. So I got roughly 200 pages left, so I hope that I could finish it within 2 days. I will see you again, probably by the end of the book or after I finish the book. So I'll see you there. Bye. Chapter 79. Got me. Bloody hell. Oh my god, that was so emotional. And then chapter 81. Badass. So here comes to my final thoughts to my very first romantasy. I found that the last quarter of the book is just full of twist after twist. Who are the heroes? Who are the villain? You would never know until the very last moment. It was so intense and I didn't want to put it down. I won't share too much about the details, about the turns, just in case you're gonna pick this book up. There are fights, some of the characters got their moment to shine and make me emotional. Also, Bryce's journey was just so intense, so savage, so brave. Hunt did contribute a little bit, but ultimately, Bryce ate it up. When you read it, especially the last 100 pages, you don't want to put it down because it was just so intense and you want to find out how this story gonna end, and it was just so breathtaking. Would I say this book is spicy? I would say some of the moments definitely are, but quite a lot of them are just the imagination of our characters, what they want to do to another one. The romance here is quite slow burn because this pair from the start was just like a working partners, working colleagues, so it takes time for them to opening up a little bit. Other than that, I really appreciate how Sarah J. Maas write these characters and also the setting of this Crescent City. I also really like the idea of having two broken people as our main characters. Bryce suffered from PTSD and at this point of the story, she still couldn't let it go. Hunt was hurt and enslaved by what he had done in the past. With the investigation going on, this pair would have time to talk about their past and opening up their secrets. Also, this book is actually quite political. There are different species and they got their own system to rule. There are also hierarchies of power and how the power is distributed. Everybody definitely got their own agenda in this world. This quite impressed me because I would never expect a romantasy would have this kind of complex political system. If you ask me, you are like me, fairly new to romantasy, I would say that House of Earth and Blood is definitely a good, entertaining start. You may also see this as a romantasy standalone because, of course, I know that there are other books in this series, but I think everything just sums up by the end of the story. So let me know how do you feel about my very first romantasy read. Do you like this book or do you have any other suggestions that are similar to this Crescent City? Most importantly, do you enjoy this kind of reading vlog? Do let me know in the comment. So if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like. If you don't want to miss any content from me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you real soon. Goodbye.